Every damn day.
Hello, everyone. It's Jerry at the Fledge, and welcome to Season 2, Episode 3. And it's January 3rd, 2022, and we are on our way. So, before I bring on my guest and introduce them, I'm going to just remind everyone that we've got some certain things that are happening every week and new programs that are coming out. So, one in particular, the Entrepreneurial Support Form that is pinned on the top of the Fledge Facebook page. If you could fill that out, if you're interested in growing your business, accelerating in some way, starting a business this year, there are tons of resources out there that we are trying to connect people with. So the form really helps us collect some data about where you're at in the process and different demographics that help us match with grants and funding opportunities. So that's one thing. We're also starting our youth entrepreneurial program up in February. So a STEM program that ties entrepreneurialism, and we're looking for 7th to 12th graders from Everett, Eastern, Sexton, Gardner, or Dwight Rich. So check out that form as well. And then the other thing is some of the events that we are doing on a weekly basis now. Every Thursday from 12 to 2, we're having a crypto meetup and talking about, one, the Fledge coin, but also all kinds of different use cases for cryptocurrencies, NFTs, and all of that. It's not the the scam where you give us $50 and we promise you $1,000 at the end of the week. We're really trying to educate the community on what we believe will probably be the next financial system, monetary system, economy, however you want to look at it. So let's get our people in on the bottom and help build this rather than letting other people build it for us. I preach that all the time. So I think that's enough for a little. Oh yeah, and of course I'm always looking for guests for every damn day. So if you're interested, hit us up, send me a message, send me an email, Jerry at the Fledge, it's right there. And I probably should also talk about 99 Problems with a Pitch Ain't One is Thursday at 6. So check that out, come pitch. We're always looking for presenters and people to pitch. So as soon as I change my camera here, you'll see someone who pitched in the finals in the last one. Mr. Marshall Clabeaux, how are you doing today?
That's it.
Happy New Year.
Yeah, Happy New Year 2022. Back at it.
Thanks for coming in with so much energy today. You know,
I'm feeling it.
I don't think you've stopped bobbing or pacing or doing your knee or whatever.
Hey man, I drank some coffee. It's like a whole pot first coffee in a week and a half, 2 weeks. So, getting the New Year started with some good pull-up coffee beans.
Yeah. Oh, I got to talk to you about something there. That reminds me, I got a bag of coffee that's made from pull-up.
Oh, very good.
Colombia.
Oh, very good.
So, yeah. So anyways, we're going to get derailed if we're not careful. But yeah, again, thanks for coming in with so much energy, because guests always motivate me to do better and to do more. And sometimes I get tired and I'm like, oh man, I can't believe I'm doing this again. But then I just look at you and feel your energy and know why I'm doing it again. So thank you for being here. Let's start with you. What do you want to tell us about you and your projects or your company or organization or however you identify?
Yeah, cool. My name is Marshall Clabeaux. I'm a Lansing resident. I live on the west side in a cooperative house in Rivendell. Got 10 roommates, cat, dog, 5 chickens, garden, greenhouse. We have a beautiful house, a nice workshop. But my work, I consider myself a cooperative community and energy enthusiast. I wear a lot of different hats. The groups and projects I'm most excited about in 2022 are the continued work with Michigan Mosaic Energy Cooperative. We've been at it together, Gary and the Fledge, for years now. I think first met you pitching at a pitch competition in Hatching, and still been at it, and beautiful relationship and growing there. Appreciate all that work. And then the project I'm most excited about this year is the Michael Thompson Clemency Project. We're working to free prisoners that have been down sometimes 30, 40 years, unjustly, ready to reenter society. And that work stems from the Michigan Cannabis Freedom Coalition. So MCFC was a coalition, national coalition with strong Michigan ties, working free cannabis prisoners here in Michigan. So Michael is the longest serving nonviolent offender in the state of Michigan history, served 26 years for selling 3 pounds of cannabis. He's free now, leading prison reform efforts. So, do a lot of environmental work, prison reform, looking forward to the year. And, it's an election year. Gretchen Whitmer do a lot of political organizing. She's up for re-election, and there's a lot of promises that haven't been true yet regarding prison reform and cannabis and the environment. So I'm looking forward to the work ahead.
Gretchen's my nemesis. She beat me in the activist advocate.
The local town. I voted for you. I really did. So,
thank you.
Yeah.
I voted for me too.
I like that. That's a good poll. The city post does a nice job on this.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of fun. I never been nominated for anything before this year, and then we got in. Peppo got in.
I saw that.
But she performed poorly. So, you're most excited about the judicial reform, and are you focused mostly in the prison reform, sentencing? Are you going up and down the chain?
It's up and down the chain. Yeah, we have a lot of different policy priorities from any felony murders. That's how people get locked up sometimes unjustly for 20, 40 life. They're just at the scene. Murder unfortunately goes down, and you're locked in for life. You may not have even touched the gun and know what was going to go on. Habitual offender in Michigan has been stacking that, and also good time served in Michigan. We're the only state that doesn't have good time served, so those are some of the policy things. And then we're also Miko, that's Michael Thompson, was by Miko. He was serving with these guys that he no longer need to be there. Today we just started a change.org petition for Donald Williams. And Donald's been down 40 years for murder he didn't commit. His wife Cheryl, his sweetheart at 14, talking to her almost every day. We're about to file a clemency petition today or this week. We're on Governor Whitmer's desk, so it's time for her to look at these cases and start pulling people out of prison that don't need to be there.
I'm going to walk backwards a little bit. It seems so unjust, to start with that word, to say your punishment is 20 years, and that's what it is, right? Mm-hmm. It's just revenge. It's just punishment. It's not about reform, because where's the evaluation? Where's the... It should be based on some behavioral change.
Yeah, rehabilitation. Yeah. And, readiness to reenter society. I mean, we got one guy, Leroy Washington. He's about to get a PhD in prison. The first person in Michigan to get a PhD in prison. And he's ready to reenter society and make a change. The good that he can do on the outside is immense. Stop hundreds and thousands of people that fall into traps that he did at 25, 20 years old with gun violence. So, the solutions are not just taking guns out of the street and they try to create.
I read a good quote from Desmond Tutu yesterday that said, we need to do more than just pull the bodies out of the river. We need to go upriver and find out why they're falling in. And I feel like we're just trying to always mess with the symptom, always mess with the thing that people can see, and you think that you can do something about it, when it's really preventative. It's really
telling the story, yeah, educating. So that's exciting work.
And I need to give a shout out to that Rich Griffin with the Michigan Justice Association. Is that right? With the Midtown.
The advocacy, Michigan Justice, Michigan MGA, they're doing good work for sure.
Yeah. And I think that good time initiative is spot on and should be done. I didn't know we were doing this state.
Yeah, that's terrible.
We get famous for things like that.
Well, Michigan, that's so crazy. I mean, Michigan prisons, we move on tangents here, but when Michael was released from Jackson Penitentiary, and historically, Jackson's been the biggest walled facility in the world. I never knew that until I was there, and just feeling the energy, consumers' energy sitting right next door, who's power in the prison. And so, we got 40,000 inmates in Michigan, and I've heard anywhere from 20,000 to be released. ready to serve community. Reentry programs are needed. That's what MCFC, we have a pretty robust reentry program. We're trying to provide housing and $5,000 reentry grants and transition plans. So in the state of Michigan, we don't have transition plan for people. So at federal prison, the group make you write out your goals and housing. You need a license, you need a phone, all these needs when you get out. And so we have a transition plan, and it's I hope it helps. It seems like a needed step at the state.
It's I think you. Wait, what? Somebody's saying the audio might be bad. Talk more than double check.
Yeah. I'll lean back a little bit.
Not audio recording. Let's see. Sorry, everyone. Just give me a second. Check. That should improve it. Sorry about that, Pete. And thank you, Pete, for letting me hear about it. So we might have just been maybe. I'll use my new skills with FL Studio to bump up the volume in the first 4 minutes, I guess.
Nice. Well,
But I think we were using the camera's mic because when I switched, it switched everything. Thank you. Lesson learned. Day 3 should be okay for the rest of the year. Shoot, now I'm a little bit derailed in the conversation. Oh, you were talking about transformation plans and is that what it's called?
transition plan.
Transition plans. And I was, what's that?
I don't think I'm hearing it.
There's no audio?
No, wait 1 second.
Check. Should be good now.
Got it.
All right. Does that mean there was no audio at all before?
I don't know.
All right. Will you turn that off or down? I was thinking about Daryl Alexander. If you remember, he was helping us with the batteries when we were, breaking those apart and all of that. And he'll come on and tell the story too. But he was there for 26 years, studied everything and anything that he could, and came out with a really solid plan. But also, there's a lot of really quirky things when you come out after 25, 30, 40 years, watching Robert Hernandez trying to answer his phone. He had no idea.
I mean, you imagine I don't know, even just from 2000 to now, that was Michael's sentence, but these guys like Donald who've been down 40 years since the 70s, you still have segregation in America,
Yeah.
So it's crazy.
It's
unjust.
It is unjust.
And justice delayed is justice denied. And so that's where, calling on Gretchen Whitmer to, we got more of these stories that are going to be filed and coming. So Horace Peterson's another one from Flint, Michigan, been down 40 years. His family's fighting hard. Son Eric Whittier put down. He was just a change.org activist of the year. So that's on her desk right now. So, free Horace.
What's the kid's name that's the longest life or youth lifer in Michigan are still?
Oh yeah, I know. Yeah, I know the story you're talking about. Michigan's youth laws are terrible, and we had one of the things we did have was a pretty sweeping criminal justice reform, clean slate package that did pass through, but it didn't go all the way on a lot of things. Even cannabis, the Michigan Cannabis Freedom Coalition's fighting for. Pushing if you had a possession or a delivery charge, that's still not expungible. So if you were charged with a cannabis crime historically, it's probably going to be cultivation, delivery, and it's a crime. It's a medicine. It's just a plant. So it's time to get those people out of prison.
They can't get those expunged?
Not cultivation and delivery.
Huh.
Yeah, and I mean, come on. If you had a crime, that's growing it and delivering it, right? So it's
in Ann Arbor, they were telling us throw that away.
Yeah.
And in Lansing, they were arresting people.
Crazy. Detroit, they're still arresting people. We our coalition was able to intercept a case where a guy had sold $40 of weed at a bus stop, and they were trying to charge him for a bunch of things. Just by being there, though, they dropped all charges, right? And so it's just a crazy system.
Yeah. So what do you want to talk about in the energy space or actually you told me a hint, the workspace, right? You want to talk about that?
Yeah,
one of those two?
The way of life. Yeah. So how we view work, And so Michigan Mosaic Energy Cooperative, it's a new economy initiative, cooperative initiative, cooperative economics. People aren't always familiar with cooperatives, so it's a type of ownership in a business, in a housing and food co-op or common. And the world of work is, it's our everyday. It's what we do, our jobs, it's our families oftentimes, who we see the most, our passions. And so why do we get stuck doing jobs that we don't want to do? And so in a new economy, let's create and envision, a new world. That's the pledge, it's entrepreneur, the quote on the door. I'm going to mess it up. I can't remember the exact wording, but, it's,
You want me to tell you?
Yeah, please.
Proceed as if success is inevitable.
That's money. That's the money quote. That's beautiful. And,
Well, right next to it says you are beautiful. And I was thinking that one applies to you too, Marshall.
Hey, much love, Jared. Much love. And Michigan Mosaic Energy Cooperative, we're really tied to environmental justice, whether it's the food we eat, whether it's the solar panels that we need the energy from. Our current energy system is broken. It's old, it's dirty, it's inefficient, and it's costly to our health and our communities. And so there's a big gap in community about what sustainability is, who it affects, how we do something about it. Is it too big for us to even control? Is it just the weather? All these things are important dialogue, and it needs to be taught in our schools. I mean, the kids get it, and they need to be able to talk about it in school, but the community needs to get it. And spaces like the Fledge and community energy are all part of the mix as we make an energy transition to a renewable future. And so, this work for me stems from shutting down Line 5 and protecting the Great Lakes.
Mm-hmm.
Being from Lansing, Michigan, we're stewards of 20% of the world's fresh water. That makes look at this. That is the most beautiful painting. That is, one of my favorite spots. My grandfather was a cherry orchard farmer in Old Mission Peninsula. So, this part of the world,
I gotta tilt the camera up just a little bit so everyone gets
the full thing. Yes.
And for all of you on my new Spotify channel, sorry, but we have a very large painting of this is the Keeneland Peninsula.
No, it was this is up not Traverse City, but what's that other
Charlevoix?
Yeah, Charlevoix. Yeah. So this is incredible.
Yeah. But I love the words you use. We're stewards of 20% of the world's water. And that doesn't mean we're managers of it. It doesn't mean we're the leaders that are doing it. Means
we can't sell it either. Yeah.
We do sell it.
We do. I know.
To Nestle.
It's a shame. It's a crime. It's a crime, right? And then charge Flint residents to drink the Nestle water.
It's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare.
I've always said that Lansing, whatever OPEC for water looks like, they're going to meet in Lansing, Michigan.
They should. They need to. They will. They will.
Yeah.
They will. And there's a governor's committee that.
And I don't mean it from the financial manipulation of.
No.
I mean, who's the stewards of the water?
Yeah. No. It's Lansing, Michigan. It's the home. It's the capital of Michigan, and that's the home of the water. So. There's a governor's pact that really needs to meet in Lansing and protect it coming up. I mean, I had a good friend, Sam Burnt, who works for NASA as a engineer right now. He helped lead the green initiative at our housing cooperative to get 20 solar panels on top of David Bowie Memorial House, and that was a real fun project. But he said, he's like, well, they're talking about taking people in California right now. And NASA are saying, well, we got the Great Lakes water, right? So, we'll figure a way to pipe it out. And he didn't know that there was a Great Lakes Pact to defend it. And he's like, environmental group, but people don't know about, this pact. And so we need to protect it. We need to enhance it. And we can't ship our water away. It's the most precious resource we have.
Do you think it is still a global resource, though?
I think it's a bioregional resource. So we need to map, evaluate our communities based on watersheds. I'm really excited about Michigan redistricting. We got new political boundaries, but I think we need to take a step further and draw how we live by watersheds, bioregions.
Oh, I like that. I like you said that, our energy, it's dirty, right? And I always look at I look at all the Lansing shirts and see which ones have smokestacks on them and which ones don't.
Yeah.
I did a TikTok, excuse my language, everybody. And I said, I fucking hate these smokestacks.
Oh, they're the worst, man. And we spent like $40,000 of our city money on it. What an awful PR campaign. That is awful. Why would you ever choose them?
Well, people came at me on TikTok with hate. Well, they
People-
fucking hate you too, and all this stuff.
Yeah,
And
I bet they did. But that's part of that dialogue, though. People look at, and they're going to come down. I could tangent about these. They're from GM. That's how they originally got here. Was GM built that plant to power their operations, and now GM might pick Lansing as a battery factory, but they got a lot of remediation to do. I think GM needs to pay to take those stacks down because that's going to be a pricey job.
in the 30s, 40s, and 50s, my family owned a grocery store on Olds Avenue called the Norris Grocery, and GM bought out that whole neighborhood to build the plants there. The big parking lot that we see now in the place. Well, I used to fish down there. My grandfather used to swim down there when he was a little boy, and I hate those things, man.
It's sad. Oh man, that's beautiful. I didn't know that story. That's what's lost, right? And so I think they need to make the plants an energy park, because they were talking about, they were investigated to make them apartments, because they got to glorify them, and that was just not feasible. It's a toxic wasteland, right? And so,
well, I'd like to have a discussion sometime, and maybe we can do a different show on this because I'm not doing the single guest this year. How are we going to take them down? And when you plan that out and you look at how you can't implode them, because then you're going to screw the river for sure. You can't take them apart a little at a bit because it's cost prohibitive. So you have to knock them over. Where are they going to fall?
I don't know.
And what dust is going to, and they're going to buy that whole neighborhood and wreck all of those houses just to bring those goddamn things down. Excuse my language again.
No, it's a nightmare.
It's a nightmare. Pete Beauchef, if you're still listening, I'm sure you have thoughts and ideas about this very subject.
Yeah, it's going to be a big thing, and it needs to come down soon, right? I mean, they're going offline like this year or next, and so you can't just leave them up.
Yeah. I think they're offline from a waste perspective, but they're boiler releases or something like
still
that.
Powered up in case the emergency event.
That inevitably is going to happen.
They love burning them, So, but it's dirty. It's all very dirty, and there's solutions. That's the encouraging thing to the energy future. They're affordable. They're interactive. And they provide jobs. I mean, millions of jobs are out there waiting to be unleashed in a new economy.
The Green New Deal, man, makes so much sense.
It makes too much sense.
Is that what the problem is? This is too simple. We've got to be more complicated.
You can't subtract the military budget to pay for it. Why would we? Billions of dollars that goes there every year, 500.
We need to be like Costa Rica. No army for a while.
Can you imagine $500 billion? What we can do?
Yeah, a lot, I assume.
A lot.
And as I go into the kind of next phase of the show and thinking about, talking to you about our community, that's you all through and through, though, right? It's what you've already been talking about.
Yeah.
As you kind of look at Lansing right now, what you see the energy problems, you see the poverty, you see the gun violence. What are some of your thoughts there and the causes and, maybe the solutions, and how does what you're doing fit into those solutions?
Yeah, I mean, I always go back to food, man. Food. Norris grocery store getting knocked out from downtown. That's a food desert now.
Mm-hmm.
And there's food deserts across the city. Food is what we put in our gut is the majority of what we react to. And I think something like 90% of how we feel and how we react is based on our gut health, which is the food we eat. And so just that lack of education around food, the lack of access to food, it's important and it affects everything. So, starting with feeding bellies, giving people warm meals is going to be key, I think, to a lot of our problems, because how do you learn on an empty stomach?
Yeah. You were the first person ever to make me realize that there's an energy ecosystem that involves the human body. I mean, equating I guess calories is a measure of heat
calories
or
per-
energy,
Yeah, no, calorie, the calorie.
right?
Yeah.
And from there you can get to volts and amps and watts
It's
and everything,
yeah,
right?
that was my aha moment. I had a fellowship back in my college at Michigan State to investigate a 100% renewable energy plan. And that's what I came down to, is that the calorie. You know, it's food, it's energy, it's everything.
Yeah.
And so it's important.
That was very insightful. That was an aha moment for me too. So thank you for teaching me that and putting me in that space and giving me a different mindset when I think about this whole problem now.
Yeah, it's really the root. You know, it's the physical root. You know, a literal root. You know.
So you're working on the things, the big things, and you know I see people, not people. I see some big organizations. Oh my God, gun violence is the thing now. Let's gravitate towards that. Or food insecurity is the thing. Let's gravitate towards that. And I understand why they would do that, to be reactive, to try to help to the reactive's the wrong word, but to respond to the help that's needed. But sometimes it's for the money, right? And it's for the grants and all of that. And so to you though, I think that calorie, if we stick with that, runs through everything that you're doing.
Yeah.
Would you say it does in the justice system? And
I mean, it's all energy, right? I mean, food. So one of our prison reform issues is food. I mean, Michael came out and he was just saying they feed us like dogs, worse than a dog. The dog won't eat that food. So like, what does that create? You know, the conditions that people are, you know, it's already unbearable what people got to live in, you know, little cages. And then you don't get any food. And so how else are you going to react but to act out, and not, when you enter society, be not rehabilitated and, you know, get yourself back in the trap, right? And so it all goes down to that calorie and energy. You know, life is energy in all of its forms.
So you're working on all that. What could you give? Let's say somebody wants to get involved. 2022 is their year. They want to get involved in strengthening the community. What would you ask them to do?
What do you love to do? What, you know, this is the world of work. What do you love to do? What is your passion? Like, that is how you can be the biggest asset. And, you know, and maybe play in some dirt, you know, make your backyard a garden, or make your front yard a garden, plant some sunflowers, you know. Sunflowers are beautiful. They're pretty easy to plant, and, you know, they make a really nice flower.
Do you remember when the Fledge first came into Lansing and I put "Do as Thou Wilt" out in the front there?
Yeah.
And that was exactly what I meant, is get up and do what the hell makes you happy every single morning. And I bet you all of us, a ton of our problems start to go away. We start to take care of each other differently.
Yep.
Yeah.
Put you in a better mind space, better headspace, you know?
All right. Last thing. Is there a story you'd want to tell us about something you've overcome, or something that you're working through the overcoming of?
Yeah. So I served as a volunteer in Service to America, which its mission is to alleviate poverty. So you get a year. It was a year of service, and you're living at the poverty level. I mean, we're capped at making $12,000 a year. That's all expenses. You know, can't have any other jobs, and you know, poverty is difficult. There's no easy solution, but we can build ourselves up, and through community. Lansing, that's what keeps me here. It's the community of Lansing. I mean, we have such a strong community. Not everyone knows about it, but I really do see something special emerging with our entrepreneurial spaces, the world of work, just the community care that is in Lansing, and the potential to grow food. You know, so fighting through poverty, you know, has been a challenge. You know, I live with 10 roommates. That can get difficult from time to time. You know, I would like to, you know, have a different, you know, own a house would be nice, but you know, gotta work through it. So I would love to see home buying programs available for first time home buyers. That seemed like a Obama administration huge success that went away. Things like that, energy retrofits on those houses. You know, I'd love to see the city of Lansing sponsor programs like that.
You coming to our Bitcoin birthday party tonight?
You know about the crypto. I'm going to be there.
Because I think we're going to talk about it. a little bit tonight, especially if Brent Forsberg shows up.
Oh, I mean that
Um,
tiny holes. Yeah, I want to. Yeah, if he's that's great. Yes. That's
And
all.
this is weird. Environmental activists, I'm just going to call you
Yeah.
that for simplicity right now, and crypto enthusiasts. And one of the things that people always say about crypto is the environmental impact, but
it's
they're
not.
wrong.
They're wrong.
They're
They're
wrong.
wrong. They're wrong. It's not. Crypto is not inherently environmentally dirty. It can
Right.
be from clean energy. It really can be. And
Well, we can do it a different way.
and we can
Like
do
the
it a different way.
Polygon network does it
There's
in
yeah,
a 6 houses per,
way way
compared
less.
to Visa's 300,000 houses.
Yeah, it's. I mean,
So,
there's solutions. There's solutions, and
Yeah.
it just gets bad. People abuse it. Crypto's being abused. It's the Wild West right now. But there are potential solutions in crypto that are going to change the world, and they're here, and they're not going anywhere.
That's right.
It's not.
One quick thing back to what you said about the struggle and the poverty. Robert Reich, Secretary of Labor,
Yeah.
that guy, first of all, his TikTok's fucking awesome. So go check him out on TikTok. But I read an article where he was talking about the child tax credit and the $300 a month and how it lifted some kids out of poverty. There was a noticeable change in 2021 or 2020. I don't know which one he was talking about. And he said it's a policy decision. Poverty is a policy decision. And you're talking about, how to, you want to impact policy this year. And it got me thinking, should we all be working on policy more?
I mean, policy needs to include all of us. Yeah, it needs to be bigger tables. Right now, the tables in Lansing they're not open tables. That's the problem. They're the lobbyists. They're not even the politicians. Politicians oftentimes are just the figurehead. They
Yeah.
come every 4 years, but the lobbyists do the work,
Constant.
man. And they're the ones building that table over and over. I mean, one quick tangent about policy before we wrap up. The Michigan Cannabis Manufacturer Association is trying to hijack the cannabis industry. They're trying to make sure you and I and everyone can't grow a single plant in their house eventually. Right. Police can knock on the door and come in whenever they want for caregiver grows. We're talking draconian measures, the war on drugs for another 100 years. So policy is important. A big table is important. So, but we don't need to all get bogged down with policy. If we have a big table, it's light work.
Yeah. Some of us got to get out there and work too, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you gotta build. We need builders.
Well, we forget to talk about anything. Anything you want to say?
Just much love to the Fledge. Appreciate all you guys do for the community. This place is doing the work, and let's keep doing the work. 2022. I'm feeling 22, man. I'm feeling it.
At the beginning of 2021, we had that big push, that campaign to raise money called We Are the Fledge. And the Fledge sometimes is building. The Fledge gets wrapped up in Jerry's thing, but it's nothing without people like you and the community that you were talking about. So we love you all very much, Lansing. Thanks for listening to another episode of Every Damn Day. Thank you, Marshall, for coming on and talking with us. And we will see you tomorrow on another episode.